Hi, my name is Geoff Webb, and this is Ask Geoff, where I answer your questions about job search and job search related matters. So come on to the kitchen, let's chat. Good afternoon, job seekers. So as you can see, we're not actually in the kitchen. I'm not wearing my Friday shirt, and this is Ask Geoff, where we answer your job seeker questions, the questions you've always wanted to ask a recruiter but were afraid to. So let's kick it off. So with this first question, when connecting with recruiters via LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook, how much contact is appropriate? I think it's the same amount of contact that would be appropriate in pretty much any setting, getting in touch with somebody in social media. So sending an initial message via Facebook, I don't think it's going to be a problem with any kind of recruiter. Similarly, tweeting at that recruiter, asking them to follow you so that you can follow up with a DM is an appropriate amount of contact, I think. I think where it goes over the appropriate point is when it becomes kind of stalkerish. So asking them to friend you, posting on their timeline incessantly, sending a message every half hour. But these are all the same sort of, very real rules that you would follow if you were contacting somebody by phone. So, really just take it, for social media is basically an online version of our lives. And so take the rules that you would use in your personal life, unless, of course, you have some issues, in which case maybe you should work on those first, and apply those to your online life as well. And so the same level of appropriateness would be appropriate in online as it would be on offline. So just try and use that as your guideline when you're contacting recruiters. And remember that they are busy people. If they don't get back to you within the next hour or 2 hours, doesn't mean that you've been left behind or that your application is not being considered. It just means that maybe they got busy trying to fill some job roles. So the next thing I wanted to do was kind of address the three areas of social media and some sort of common mistakes that job seekers make. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put these down below me here on the screen. But let's talk a little bit about LinkedIn first. So these are some common social media mistakes job seekers make within the LinkedIn environment. So the first one is appearing desperate. Often LinkedIn can be used as kind of a way of spamming people. I probably get about 5 or 10 daily emails from folks who are, "Dear LinkedIn connections, I'm looking for some new work," or "I'm looking for a specific type of work." And I have to be honest, I'm more appreciative of the people who say that they want to look for a specific type of job that may be related to what I do. And so, I don't really recruit as much anymore. And so, asking me to find you a job as a product manager probably isn't going to be helpful. Now, I do own large recruiting networks, and so people who contact me and say that they are looking for a recruiting role, can I put them in touch with some people? That's more likely to be responded to because it's very specific to me. And also, I don't like responding to emails when they don't even take the time to write my name down. I mean, just to be able to say, "Hi, Geoff," at least makes me feel like I know you. I may not know you, but at least you've taken the time to look up my name and put it into an email. The other area, the second area, number 2 here, is being self-serving. So obviously networks are a two-way street. And it's often shocked me during my time in recruiting, my 20-some years in recruiting, when I would go out to a candidate asking them for help to find somebody, and they would tell me to leave them the heck alone. They wouldn't use the word heck, but this is a YouTube family show, so we're going to use the word heck today. And then when, a couple weeks or a few weeks later, when they needed a role, they would then reach out to me and say, "Oh, I'm desperate, I've been let go, I need to talk to you about, potentially finding work." Now, social media is a two-way street, as I've already said. And so if you've just told me that you're not going to help me because you find me to be a scummy recruiter a couple of weeks ago, what makes you think when you email me that I'm all of a sudden going to be your best friend and help you find a job? So, we're recruiters are human beings as well. We're just people who are trying to do a job. Please don't go out and just tick us off because, you don't like the recruiting profession. And please keep it in your mind that you may need these people later on. So it might be a good idea to reciprocate and play fairly. Number 3, and probably the most the most obvious, but probably the most also done thing is not having a complete profile, and that really didn't come out of my mouth right. So let me start again. Job seekers, you need to have a complete profile within LinkedIn, and LinkedIn goes ahead and tells you how to make a complete profile. It's not that hard. You should also SEO optimize your profile to be found by recruiters. I'm going to put a link below to a blog post that we did on our blog on 4 simple ways to SEO optimize your LinkedIn profile. So you can look at that to get an idea of ways that you can SEO optimize your LinkedIn profile. And the last thing is having a split focus. So job hunters may sometimes have a different area of expertise, and they may not know that they're giving out mixed messages. And so you may be after a project management role, but also a sales role. So if that's the case, you really need to decide what it is that you want to do and zone in on that message so that you're not confusing your recruiters who are really your audience out there. So if we're not very sure about what it is that you're trying to do or what it is you have done, because your or your LinkedIn profile is all over the place, probably chances are we're not even going to try and give you a call to find out. So hopefully that's been helpful for the LinkedIn. Let's go on to Twitter. Okay, so Twitter. Twitter pretty easy as a social network, 140 characters, but can be great for job seekers. Here's a couple of things that I've often seen job seekers do wrong on Twitter. So amassing a large number of people to follow without contributing any tweets. If you want people to actually interact with you on Twitter, you need to interact with them. So very similar to LinkedIn, it's a payback environment. And often the people who have the most amount of followers who don't actually tweet anything are also the porn bots or the spam bots that are out there on Twitter. So there's lots of software out there on Twitter today that will actually help you to get rid of people who are not contributing to your network. I run my Twitter feed through an auto management tool probably about once a month, and that gets rid of people who haven't tweeted at all within the last 6 weeks. And so if you have a large number of following and you don't actually tweet anything, probably you're going to be looked upon as a spam bot. It's not going to help you when people are searching for you to get in touch with you on Twitter. So, even if you want to generate those tweets through something like Twitter feed, that's better than not having anything at all. And certainly, not retweeting is a big mistake that job seekers make. So, if you want to be seen as an influencer within an industry, you want recruiters to notice you, it's often a good idea to retweet their stuff. So, retweet the people who actually know their stuff in your industry, but also retweet the recruiters who are working in your industry who are also retweeting things. That's going to get you a lot of love from them, as well as it's going to get you introduced to those people, so they have you on their radar screen for when that potential role comes open. So retweet and make sure that you do contribute to the conversation. Let's move on to Facebook. So the number one mistake that job seekers make on Facebook is posting inappropriate content. And what that means, it could be photos, it could be negative comments, it could be racially or religiously motivated comments, which are not found to be appropriate by a majority of the population. It could be off-color jokes. And I'm not saying that you can't post this stuff on Facebook. Certainly you can. Your Facebook wall is your personal space, or your Facebook timeline. But you want to be able to make sure that your privacy settings are in place so that you only share those things with people who you want to share them with, who aren't going to be offended. So, we all have those friends, and we all post stuff which is kind of either edgy or maybe potentially inappropriate. That just happens. But Facebook makes it really, really easy for you to actually determine who gets to see that. So you can make it for your friends only. You can make it for a custom group of friends. You can make it for one of your lists of people. So if you're holding on to lists, or if you're creating lists of friends that you want to share content with, then you can always share content very quickly with that list, or edit the people who can see it. It's very easy these days to use Facebook for privacy purposes. And just remember that, if you are at the beginning of your career, everybody loves to have a fun and funky Facebook wall. It's one of the reasons why we attract some friends at times and followers. But you just need to be careful that that content doesn't get used against you in the hiring process. And more recruiters are Googling their applicants, and part of what comes up as a Google result, because of the Google Social Graph and Panda and all the things that are happening with Google, is your Facebook profile. So we're taking a look at it, and if we see really inappropriate stuff there, then we often question whether or not that inappropriateness will transition from your personal life into your work life. So just lock that stuff down. It's pretty simple. Guys, that about did it for me for this week. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ask Geoff, the social episode. If you have liked it, then please press that like button, give us a thumbs up because it shows us that you care and also helps the show. And press that subscribe button. If you want to watch every video that we've ever made, you can always do that at radicalevents.ca in the video section, as we have the entire channel archived there. So hope your week is well and happy hunting, and I will see you all next week.